Let's see. Oh, and we're live. Yay! All right. Hi, everybody. We are here with Valeria, and I'm super excited to have her here and to talk about her journey. This is really, really fun for me. We started working together back in August, and she has made such a huge transformation. And it's just like, of course, I'm going to start to get emotional, so I'm going to try to quell that. But no, it's just been a really, really powerful transformation for her, and it's really been beautiful for me to watch her uncover her gifts in so many different ways. So I just wanted to share all of that with you and share her story with everyone, because it's really inspiring. And I think just the energy of it, I feel like will bring everybody, this into this higher state of consciousness, which is kind of like, the point of all of this. So I feel like just by watching this, it'll kind of like raise everyone's vibration. So that's really cool. So I just want to start. Well, why don't you introduce yourself and tell us what you do?
Well, I'm Valeria Maritza, and I am an art teacher by day, and I just opened up to my gifts.
Awesome. Thank you. So why don't you tell us a little bit about like who you were and how you were feeling in your life before you started the metamorphosis with me? Just tell me a little bit about like who you were before this journey and how you were feeling.
Okay, so I was totally feeling in a rut, like just like aimlessly, like going through life and just going through the motions type of thing, and like not knowing where to go, and like kind of confused and just kind of like going day by day without really knowing why, and looking for something else. And I had just had this thought in January that maybe I should look into working from home. Then COVID happened. And I got my wish. I'm sorry, but
oh my God, I feel like so many people did. So don't feel bad saying that. I say that all the time. I'm like, all of my prayers were answered.
Yeah, and so I started having a little extra time, and I started exploring things. And then I discovered Elise's Breathe to Succeed site, and I started just looking at all of the. I'm sorry, my hair just keeps falling on my face. I started listening to all of her videos. She has like lots of videos that, when she started posting, and I started listening to them. And then summer came by, and I was just like drawn. Like I would be outside on my porch playing with my son, and he would be playing, and I would just have the headphones, and I would just listen to all of these videos that Elise had there, and they were just speaking to me. Like it was just, I just couldn't get enough. I was always listening to it, and then. So then I started doing that and doing some of the freebies that she has in there. She has some free breath works and stuff. And then talking to her, then I decided to join into one of her groups to have more guidance. So that's how I was at the beginning.
Okay. Yeah. So then you joined the metamorphosis. And then can you just like talk a little bit about like what your experience has been in the metamorphosis?
Okay. So first of all, I had a lot of questions in terms of, should I do this or not? Should I invest on myself or not? And is this the right thing or not? And then I kept having like the divine giving me signs of saying yes about it. And my father passed away, and I used this company called the Metamorphosis to disperse his ashes. And I was looking into it, and I was thinking, hey, like that's the same thing that kind of resonates. Maybe I should do it. Maybe I shouldn't. And then when I decided to do it, and like right after that, I got an email from the company that I had used for my father. It was just like a thank you or something, but it's like an email that arrived right after that. And he was like, okay, that's like definite confirmation. I should definitely do this.
I know. I remember when you told me that, I was like, well, if that's not a sign, I don't know what is.
Yeah. And of course, I'm still like questioning it, right? But I went with it because it just felt so I should just really do this because all of the signs were coming. And just to let you know, like listening to my intuition, not my thing. From back then, it's really like something that's been difficult to like really trust it and not think like, oh, that's just my thought or it's just coincidence and all of that. I know we all question ourselves with that. So I went ahead and I did it, and I started working on it diligently, I should say. I had a plan. Every week, one of the lessons would come up, and I would do it. And I was doing all the work in it and doing the breath work. And I just started moving like really quickly. And after a month, I have to say, I was a totally different person. I mean, in just 1 month. And plus, it felt as if I had been doing this breath work, which I had never done before. And also, when I first read about breath work, I was like, what is that? It's just another type of breathing, because I had done yoga and different meditation things. So I didn't think breath work was any different or, worth trying. But I did it because it was there, and it really was different. So it makes a huge difference. I can't say I really like doing it that much because, my mouth gets a little dry sometimes. So I find it like hard to do the breath work itself. But it does get results different than when you're doing a regular meditation with regular breathing. So it definitely is doing something and getting results on my part.
Yeah. And what do you feel like for you were some of the most powerful results? Because I know like a lot of the results you see in the beginning are more like much more internal results. But what do you feel like for you were some of the most powerful results that you saw like after that first month?
So besides listening to my intuition more and just knowing that was a sign and that was something that I was actually receiving as opposed to just a thought, and more clarity as to like what I wanted to do or what I wanted, like being more true to myself. And I guess taking my power, because I was really feeling like I'm here taking care of my son, and that's basically my life. Like I really had no life outside of it. And especially with COVID being at home, there was just, not going anywhere. I mean, I'm working by day and taking care of my son, and that was basically it. And then just feeling super tired all the time and just not having any time or not making any time, I should say, for myself, because the time obviously was there. So doing the metamorphosis and starting to commit to doing the breath work and giving myself that time every night, because I would do it after he would go to sleep, that started creating that space for me and for myself, and so that I could grow. And then I noticed that I started putting boundaries, with my husband and my son, and saying, hey, I'm going to be doing this now. And so this is my time. And I do not want to be disturbed because I'm doing this. And the more I did it, the more, the easier it got. So it wasn't like I was asking for something that was out there, like, oh, you need your special time. It was like, oh, okay, Mommy's doing this, so I'm not bothering her. And it was amazing how I felt like, wow, all this time I could have been doing something for myself, but yet it's just your frame of mind, right? Of how you're feeling like you can't do it, but you can. It's just how you feel about it. And doing all of this work with the breath work is really what got me there, of feeling that I was worthy and worth taking time for myself and do things on my own.
Yeah. And then do you feel like I know you touched on this a little bit, but just how your relationship shifted with your like husband and your son, like, could you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah. So I only have one child, so my son's playmate. And so all of you moms who have like just one child or maybe even more, and you're kind of trapped into that, it just gave me like something to say, hey, Mommy has something to do, and then seeing that he's respecting it and that he's taking the time. So he's changing his view on Mommy too. That, Mommy's busy and she's doing something, and then, he'll complain and be like, why do you always have to go meditate? Like, I don't want to meditate. I want to meditate. And, making that clear to him. And explaining, how it's a good thing for me, and making parallels so he understands. Like I'll tell him, your daddy's always exercising, and this is mommy's exercising time, but it's a different type, and that type of thing. And seeing that he's, for the most part, accepting it and going along with it, and it's becoming like a norm in my house.
Mm-hmm.
And when I skip a day, because of whatever reason, and then I feel like I'm missing something. And I guess what I'm feeling is the connection that I'm receiving when I'm doing the breath work. So if I go like 2 days and I haven't done breath work, I'm like, okay, I really need to do this because I'm feeling kind of lost. And it's really easy to, I guess, fall back into the way things were. For me, at least, if I don't have some type of schedule and time that I give myself, is really easy to just fall off and say, oh, I'll just do it tomorrow, and then it becomes harder and harder, I feel. So it's really important for me to keep it up.
Yeah. So then getting into like the connection stuff, I guess I want to kind of go into like how you started to discover not only your psychic gifts, but also that you have this ability as a healer. So I kind of want to talk about both of those because I think they're both really exciting. Because I do remember like the first call that I had with you was when we just did a reading, and I immediately said to you, like, you're psychic, like you have these abilities, and you were like, what? So can you talk a little bit about like starting to awaken your abilities and understand your gifts?
Okay. So I've always had, I guess, this coincidences that that of things happening or things manifesting or knowing things. Like my sister would say, for example, you remember that song that has those drum things? And I would say, oh, and I will sing it to her. I was like, yeah, how did you know that? Like that type of stuff. I'm like, I don't know. I just knew that's what it was, type of thing. So I never gave it much thought about it. And then also, like many years back, I had played with healing. Like I had a friend who called me one time, and I don't know why he thought that I could do this, but he said, hey, I have this headache. Can you do something about it? And I was like, sure. And I don't know why I say sure either, because I've never done this before. And I just put my hand on my head, and I started feeling this pain. And I told him where it was, and he was like, yeah, that's where it is. And I kind of like, I felt like it transferred to me, and then I released it. And then he said he was fine. And then, of course, I was like, yeah, he was just saying that he was fine. Like, still not believing it. And we actually did this a couple of times. And of course, every time I would be like, yeah, he's just saying that. Like, so still not believing in it, and definitely not going after it or exploring it more. It was just kind of like a fun thing that kind of happened. Maybe it happened. I'm still questioning if it happened, like that type of stuff.
Yeah.
So something had been there, but I just was never open to exploring it and seeing it. So doing the breath work, and with the information that I received from our session, he was like, okay, so it is true, and maybe I should look into this and start working. And then I also want to say, like, a lot of the breath work towards the beginning of the program, it says, like, listen to your intuition and receive the downloads and hear your messages. And I'm meditating, and I'm like, I'm not receiving anything. I don't hear anything. I have no idea what I'm supposed to be hearing. So it did take at least 5 weeks for me to start actually tuning in or opening up to receiving it. So I don't feel bad if you're not. You are receiving it. You just don't know you're receiving it. But I started like feeling more stuff, and then my hands started to tingle and get warm, and I started getting a lot of things with my hands that I would feel heat, or if I put them on my belly while I was meditating, I would feel like heat going into my body, like super hot. And so that was different. I was like, okay, something's happening, and that type of stuff. That's kind of like how I started discovering this. And of course, getting all of the messages saying, yes, you can do this. Yes, you have it, and listen to it. And me saying, yeah, I don't know. I think we need more time or more work, and just not listening to it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's basically how I started listening or hearing it.
Right. And then can you describe like kind of some of the really cool like experiences that you've been having as far as like connecting with your psychic abilities, like the beings that you've connected with, and just the different like some of the experiences that you've had?
Like now?
Yeah, like what you're experiencing now, like whichever you don't like, whatever you feel comfortable sharing, but like there's been some cool experiences that you've had, so I want people to know.
So I was washing dishes one time, and I was looking through the window, and I see this like shape towards the back of my house of like a form, and it looked like a lion to me. And I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, okay, it's a reflection of something. And I'm going like this, like, where is it and how is it? And it was just not going away, and it was just there. So I videotaped it. And this thing is like, it looked like this gigantic lion, just like really like an elephant-sized lion in the very back of my backyard. And it was just there. And then it was like kind of morphed into another one, definitely cats. Sent it to my friend, like, look, what is this? It's like, oh, it looks like a dog or maybe a cat. I don't know. So it was definitely there. And then, it was there for a while, like at least 15 minutes, and then it went away. And then when I was doing another, I think it was with you, one of our meetings that we had, and I mentioned it, and you're like, yeah, I see the cats. And since then, I have been told as well that I have connection with these cat beings, and that they're there for me to gain strength or use their strength. I had another reading the other day when the first thing that appeared was a Black Panther, showing me the strength and the velocity at which I was moving. So definitely surrounded by cats and felines around. So that's been pretty cool. And another thing that was super cool, during one of my meditations, I was seeing this like greenish bluish lines just appear and then forming a shape. And it was like turning around, and I'm looking at it, I'm saying, is that Jesus? Okay, so it looked like Jesus' face, kind of like sideways. And I was like, what? So I grew up Roman Catholic, and then as life happens, I stopped practicing. I never really, it never resonated with me what the church was saying, not God or anything, but the rules of the church, I should say. So I kind of abandoned that for a while. And so for Jesus to appear, I was kind of surprised because I was like, hey, I haven't, talking to you for a long time.
Right.
So it turns out he's one of my guides as well. And I also have connection with the angels. So all of that has been revealed and come to me, and it's pretty cool.
It's so cool. I'm getting emotional.
Yeah.
It's so cool. So yeah, so that has been really wild. And that's so amazing. And now now it's cool because I feel like as people start to discover their gifts and start to connect with their guides, it's like all of a sudden you have like all of this support around you that you like never really realized you had. And you have like all of these beings that you can call on for guidance and support and knowledge and wisdom of like where you're going, what to do next. And it's like you don't really have to question anymore because now you have access to this wisdom that you can draw on at any time. So like it's just so cool. And it's so empowering for people. So I just want to, I know we have people commenting, but I can't see everyone's name. But someone just said, one of my favorite parts of this crazy year is powerful women reclaiming their gifts and healing from codependence and moving into interdependence. It's so true. I feel like so many of us have like rediscovered, I guess, our gifts this year. So it's like, it's one of the, I think 2020 has been the best year ever. I know some people will argue with that, but in so many ways it has been. So now the other thing I just wanted you to touch on is then discovering your gifts as a healer. So I know you mentioned a little bit about like your hands and feeling the heat in your hands, but how did you just kind of discover and start to step into your abilities to actually heal people remotely?
It's all because of you, really. Just kick me in my butt. So basically, all of the messages, all of the intuition, everything that I was receiving from everyone that I spoke with in our support groups and stuff was, yes, you have the gifts. Yes, you just have to do it. And yes, you have to believe in it. And me sitting back, feeling like, well, I need to know more, or I need to be more sure. And, all of those questions. And finally, it was just like, oh, maybe I should do this. Maybe I should practice on somebody. And it's like, well, okay, well, just do it. And I'm like, what? I'm like, all right, I'm going to put out there, I'm going to give us some free healing sessions. Of course, I have no idea what I'm doing. And I'm being so truthful when I say that. I'm just going to do it. And I put out a post saying I'm going to give these free healing sessions. And I would like some feedback about it. So people signed up for it. And then I was like, okay. So then I went, and still not knowing what I was going to do or how I was going to do it, I just went my first one. And I basically was like going back to what I had done years back, which was just like kind of try to feel their pain, their physical pain, and see if it would transfer to me, and then move it out. So that's how I started. And I started doing that, and I started seeing that it worked. And I was like, okay, so, and this is from total strangers. So it's not family, not somebody I know, not somebody who likes me. So it was really reassuring to me that, okay, this is real. It's not just a friend who's saying that I did it, type of thing. So for me, it was just trying it out with a stranger that the part that helped out. So after like a week of doing this, I was like, okay, now I'm going to put it in a different group and offer some more. So I did that, and my calendar filled up. Like last night was my last one, because I offered 2 weeks of it. And so last night was the last one I did from that. And then I'm getting the feedback and what people are saying, and it's just been amazing. And the more I do it, the more new things are happening. Mm-hmm. Like I'm discovering that I'm able to do different things. I gave someone a message from their deceased father, which I didn't know I could do. I didn't know how it happened. It just happened. And then like, it's kind of like just listening. Like I had this thought and I speak it out, and then it resonates with the person. So, and then it just keeps coming like, yes, that's what it is. That's what it is. And that's how it is. So that's what happened. So really like the more I do this, the more I'm receiving messages to give the people that I'm working with. So it hasn't been just about removing pain, which I thought was what I was doing. So it's been like a bigger whole entire body healing experience that I still feel like I haven't uncovered all of it. But the more I do it, the more I feel like the more I'm able to help people. Like I'm getting deeper into what they need. I had one last night. It was my last one, and it was pretty much like a psychic session. It was more of that than a healing session, I felt, because I was basically just giving her messages and things that I was receiving. So it was totally different than when I first started giving this away. So I have no idea where it's taking me, but like I said, the more I do it, the more I grow, and the more things are revealed to me.
It's so cool. Yeah. And I totally resonate with that. Because that's kind of what happened for me too. Like I started out thinking I was just going to be doing breath work for people, and it's turned into like a whole slew of other things. So I totally get it, because I think what happens is when you start going down this path, you just start to uncover so many gifts, and you just start to like expand your capacity for just being able to tune in and receive information. And then, you know, as you continue to trust your ability to do that, you just keep getting more and more and more and more information that you didn't even realize that you could do. Like, you're like, oh, I didn't realize I could get messages from people who've passed away, right? And all of a sudden it's just like right there, because I feel like once you're able to tap into that higher wisdom, then it just like opened the floodgates, and it's just like, okay, here we go, you know?
Yeah.
So it'll just keep unfolding for you.
I had an experience many years ago when my mom had passed away. I think she had been gone from this earth about a year. And I took a trip to Italy, and I went into this church, and I just sat down there, and she came loud and clear speaking, like I could hear her. And, you know, I'm just sitting there, like I wasn't expecting, I wasn't trying to do anything. It just happened. So I did hear her loud as day. And of course I'm like crying, and, you know, as I'm receiving all of her messages, and it was just beautiful. So I do have that, and I did have that back then when she came through. So I'm not surprised that I'm getting these other messages now. But yeah, it's nothing that I had explored or looked into or want to look into. I just didn't know that was something that I could do. Like, I had gone to see mediums before so that they can give me messages. Never, you know, and no one ever said anything to me about, hey, you have some abilities as well. Because I was always been into this stuff of, you know, talking to psychics or getting the tarot cards read and all that stuff. And not one person had ever said anything to me as like, hey, you have this ability. So
I did.
Right. So that's the difference. That's what I was getting at. That
okay, sorry.
That the metamorphosis is completely different. It's not you going for a reading. It's you going to find out information about yourself. So it's like a huge difference of just going to someone to read your cards and tell you, hey, you know, this happened and this might happen and whatever. And this is all more about you and how you can grow and find yourself. So it's a completely different thing. And I remember telling my sister about it when I had my first session. And I told her, I said, I wanted to do this because everything about it talked about discovering who you are or where you're going or your purpose. And it was so different than going for a reading or, you know, going to connect with loved ones if you're seeing a medium or something. So it was different, which is why I felt like, yeah, this is something that I need for me to grow. So yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. And then the other thing I just wanted to add on to that is like, so, you know, the Metamorphosis is the first program that I created. And then part of the reason why I ended up creating the Awakening, which is just focused on awakening your psychic abilities, is because everyone in the Metamorphosis started uncovering their psychic abilities. Yeah. And I was like, oh, wait, I should. And, you know, the Metamorphosis is more of like a deeper dive into uncovering your purpose and really stepping into your gifts. And also it's focused a lot around releasing whatever you're holding on to from the past. But as a result of that, it seems like all of you are stepping into and uncovering your psychic abilities, which is part of why I was inspired to create the Awakening, because I just felt like it was like kind of like a natural byproduct of the Metamorphosis. So that was really, really cool. Okay, so I guess let me see if there was anything else I wanted to make sure we covered. So just like, how do you feel now compared to, I mean, obviously we know you feel different after everything that you've shared, but like just comparing yourself to the you like over the summer to the you now, like what is the biggest difference in how you feel?
So I feel confident about myself, about my place in my family, I should say. I feel more equal, like this is important to me. And I know it's funny because these are some of the advice that you had given me at the beginning, and I was not there and it just didn't feel that way. So now it just does feel that way. It feels like this is important and I'm taking time for myself, and this is part of me and what I'm doing. So it's huge to have that feeling and that ability to take time for myself and do the things that I like. And also because I've been doing all of these sessions, most of them have been at night because of my day job, I should say. And I took a couple of days off last week. No, I didn't take them off. I had them booked with things for myself. So I wasn't giving, but I was receiving. But then by Monday, I was feeling like, oh, I missed that. Like, I really want to do more of that because as I'm giving on these healing sessions, I'm also receiving. So
Totally.
So I feel like a lot more growth as I'm doing these sessions with other people. So it's not just about, helping others. It's that whomever I'm helping is also helping me at the same time. And that's just a beautiful energy that I have. And to be able to do that and connect with people doing that is just feels really good.
Oh my God. Yeah. It's like the best thing ever.
Yeah.
Because you're not only are you helping other people, but you're like learning and growing and healing at the same time. And then like to step into doing that as like your like career or, whatever you want to call it is like just so beautiful because it's like you don't even feel like you are working per se, like you're just literally exchanging energy, healing yourself and healing other people all day long. And it's just like, it doesn't really get any better than that.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's so awesome. So can you tell people if people want to experience your amazing healing work, how can they get in touch with you?
Yes. So I just made another group. I made a group on Facebook, which is private. So it's safe for anyone who might be looking into this and is not ready to share with the rest of the world. So I can put a link or something.
Yeah, we'll put a link in the comments to your Facebook group. And then if people want to have a session with you, they can just send you a message, right?
Yes, thank you. Thank you. I'm on my Facebook page now. I'm trying to find it so I can copy a link to put it there. Hold on.
Yeah, you can do it after we stop. And then if you want to have a session with Valeria and experience her amazing abilities, then you can reach out to her and message her. And also, if you want to find out more about the metamorphosis or the awakening, then just message me as well. But I'm
sorry, I can't put a chat thing here. I can't.
Yeah, that's okay. After it's done, you can put it in because it's a little weird because we're on StreamYard. But thank you so much for coming on here and sharing this with us. I'm just like so overjoyed by your journey and what you've discovered. And now like I can't wait to see like the next phase of this because I know it's going to be like so awesome.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I really I'm so happy to be here with you and sharing this space, and also for all of your support that I have received from you in all of our groups.
Oh, thank you. Okay, well, yeah, let's we'll end it there and we'll hear from you guys soon. Thank you so much.
Okay, thanks. Bye.
Bye.